They spray-painted boat trash across my dead uncle's pristine cabin cruiser while I slept inside. Neon orange letters 8 inches tall dripping down 40 feet of spotless white fiberglass like blood on a wedding dress. This boat survived 30 years of Colorado mountain storms without a scratch. Now it looks like a billboard of shame, visible from every house on Alpine Lake. The violation notice was duct taped to my windshield. HOA President Delilah Thornfield demanding I remove my boat for creating unsightly ripples. 72 hours or $500 daily fines. What would you do if they vandalized your family legacy? My name is Marcus Blackwood, 52, retired Navy logistics officer who spent 20 years keeping aircraft carriers supplied across 3 oceans. After my messy divorce, I was rotting in a cramped San Diego apartment, watching my 15-year-old daughter Sage disappear into her phone during awkward weekend visits. Then Uncle Ezra died at 89, leaving me his lakefront cottage in the Colorado Rockies. Alpine Lake sits like God's private swimming pool between pine-covered peaks. 300 acres of water so clear you can see trout swimming 30 feet down. Ezra's cottage is pure 1940s craftsmanship, thick log walls, riverstone fireplace, and wraparound porch completely paid off. The community looked like postcard paradise. 47 homes scattered around pristine shoreline, luxury cars worth more than most people's houses. Then I met the dictator in khakis. Delilah Thornfield, 58, former corporate HR executioner turned HOA president for life. She rules from an $800,000 glass fortress directly across my humble log cabin. Her white BMW X7 sits in a circular driveway like a throne. Delilah has issued 127 violation notices in 2 years. Neighbors whisper about her measuring grass with rulers and timing dog walks with stopwatches. The confrontation came week 2, 7 a.m. on my dock. I'm holding coffee, watching sunrise paint the mountains gold, when her designer heels start clicking across wooden planks like a countdown timer. Her department store perfume hits me like chemical warfare. Your boat creates unsightly ripples that disturb our peaceful lake aesthetic, she announces, clipboard raised like she's serving divorce papers. I glance at my 1985 Bayliner 3270, Uncle Ezra's pride and joy, meticulously maintained but showing honest age next to the neighbor's floating palaces. Ma'am, it's properly registered and insured. I'm well within my rights. Her smile could have cracked the dock planks. We'll see about that, won't we? What followed was psychological warfare disguised as community concern. Day 10. Certified violation notice. Day 15. Lawyer's threat about community standards. Day 20. Anonymous county complaint claiming I operated an unlicensed commercial vessel. Day 25 brought Delilah's masterstroke. A petition signed by 12 neighbors claiming my boat destroyed their quality of life. That's when they vandalized Uncle Ezra's boat. That's when they made it personal. After discovering my destroyed boat, I treated this like a military operation. First mission: infiltrate the county courthouse. 6 hours digging through HOA covenants in a basement that smelled like bureaucratic defeat. Most documents were standard suburban tyranny, but something caught my eye in Section 12. Original property owners maintaining certain grandfathered rights. Next, I installed a security perimeter around my dock. For weatherproof cameras with night vision, footage uploaded to cloud storage that Delilah couldn't touch. Deputy Rodriguez treated my vandalism report with military precision, photographing every orange letter like CSI evidence. My counterstrike was swift, a certified demand letter requesting $3,500 for boat repairs and immediate cessation of harassment. Delilah's response was nuclear. An emergency board meeting with agenda reading, addressing problem resident and implementing protective measures. Her master plan revealed true sociopathy. A new covenant amendment banning watercraft over 25 feet or older than 10 years. If passed, my boat would become contraband overnight. She launched propaganda claiming my boat posed environmental catastrophe, recruiting volunteer photographers to document my excessive wake violations. Then came the game-changing discovery. While organizing Uncle Ezra's basement, I found a cardboard box labeled property papers. Inside lay manila folders containing decades of documents. One yellow deed from 1923 stopped me cold. The language included phrases about riparian ownership extending to high watermark and grantor retaining perpetual rights to lake water usage. My covert intelligence gathering revealed community underground resistance. Retired teacher Beth Morrison whispered during a mailbox encounter. She destroyed the Hendersons 2 years ago. $15,000 in fines for growing tomatoes, she claimed, violated aesthetic standards. Vietnam veteran Jim Santos had his war story. $2,000 fine for painting my mailbox the wrong shade of green. She brought a color wheel to prove the violation. The pattern crystallized. Delilah systematically targeted anyone disrupting her suburban paradise fantasy, weaponizing HOA bureaucracy to force financial surrender. But unlike previous victims, I had military training in hostile situation management. Delilah's desperation reached new heights when she decided to weaponize the legal system. The certified letter from HOA Attorney Services demanded immediate boat removal under threat of $10,000 lawsuit. Legal intimidation designed to terrify homeowners into submission. My response was surgical precision. I hired Sarah Chun, a property attorney whose reputation for dismantling HOA overreach made suburban dictators wake up screaming. Sarah's preliminary review of my water rights documentation made her literally laugh out loud. "Marcus," she said, examining Uncle Ezra's deed collection, "this isn't just strong legal position. This is thermonuclear warfare disguised as property law." Meanwhile, my research uncovered legal buried treasure. The 1985 developer who created Lakeside Estates had committed fatal error in property acquisition. His warranty deed specifically excluded all water rights from sale to individual homeowners. The HOA had been collecting lake maintenance fees for 38 years without legal authority. But the real bombshell came when I hired licensed surveyor to map exact boundaries. Professional surveying revealed my inherited property extended 30 feet further into lake than anyone assumed. Several HOA members' precious docks were trespassing on my riparian zone. Most satisfying, Delilah's decorative gazebo sat entirely on my legal property. The document that would detonate Delilah's empire arrived Wednesday morning. Sarah's paralegal had conducted comprehensive title search, archaeological excavation through century of property records. "Marcus," Sarah said, spreading documents like battle plans, "sit down before I tell you this. You don't just own water usage rights. You own the entire lake. Every drop of water, every inch of lake bed, every fish swimming beneath the surface belonged to me through unbroken inheritance dating to 1918. When Silas Blackwood built his dam and created Alpine Lake, Colorado water law granted him absolute ownership under prior appropriation doctrine. Those rights had passed through 4 generations without legal surrender. For 38 years, every homeowner around Alpine Lake had been trespassing on my private property. Every dock, platform, boat launch, gazebo, all constructed without permission. The HOA collected $847,000 in illegal fees over 4 decades. Money extracted from homeowners for services on someone else's property. Sarah explained my options with prosecutor's enthusiasm. You could immediately prohibit all lake access, forcing removal of every structure. Trespass lawsuits against 47 families would exceed HOA's total assets. You have grounds to bankrupt this entire community. The Alpine Lake Community Center had never hosted more dramatic showdown than the monthly HOA meeting that would detonate Delilah's empire. 67 residents packed into room designed for 40. Local newspaper reporter positioned strategically. County Sheriff Deputy Rodriguez sat in back corner. Delilah opened with theatrical fury. "Tonight we address the crisis threatening our peaceful community. This emergency motion will ban Marcus Blackwood's boat immediately, protecting our lake from environmental destruction." Her enlarged photographs made my boat look like industrial disaster. Charts displayed fabricated wake damage and noise pollution data. She demanded I pay $15,000 emergency assessments while removing my vessel within 48 hours. That's when I requested 10 minutes to respond. Sarah began distributing historical deed research while I connected laptop to projector. The 1923 property deed appeared on screen in enlarged glory. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said with calm authority of someone holding nuclear weapons, "I don't just have right to use this lake. I own it. Every drop of water, every inch of lake bed belongs to me through unbroken inheritance from my great-great-grandfather who created this lake in 1918. The silence was deafening. Sarah's laser pointer traced property boundaries on projected survey map, highlighting devastating scope of community trespassing. Every dock, swimming platform, boat launch, and structure touching this lake sits on Marcus's private property. For 38 years, the HOA has been collecting fees for maintaining someone else's land without legal authority." Audible gasps rippled through crowd. Delilah's face turned white, then red, then green as she processed complete destruction of her legal position. "That's impossible," she shrieked, abandoning dignified leadership pretense. "Those documents are forgeries." The documentary evidence was overwhelming. Chain of title showing unbroken water rights ownership from 1918 to present. Survey maps proving most HOA lake structures violated property boundaries. County records confirming lake classification as private property. Then came my mic drop moment. I stood slowly, projecting calm confidence of absolute authority. I could legally demand removal of every dock tomorrow. I could prohibit all lake access and sue every family for decades of trespassing. I could bankrupt this HOA overnight. The room held collective breath. Instead, I'm offering reasonable annual licensing for continued access. $50 per household, less than illegal fees you've been paying. All existing structures can remain, but harassment and vandalism stops immediately. Delilah's reign ends tonight. The aftermath unfolded like most satisfying movie ending. Within 2 weeks, Delilah and her supporters fled like defeated generals. Their for sale signs sprouted overnight. Property values soared 15% once buyers realized they could live in lakefront paradise without suburban Stalin. My cottage became pilgrimage site for apologies. Beth Morrison arrived with homemade apple pie. Jim Santos delivered bourbon with note to the man who liberated us. The Stewart artists painted gorgeous watercolor of my boat titled Waves of Freedom. The newspaper story exploded across social media. Navy veteran discovers he owns entire lake, destroys HOA dictatorship. My victory became template for fighting back against petty authoritarians nationwide. The legal resolution was poetry in motion. HOA settlement of $50,000 covered every penny of costs. Delilah avoided criminal prosecution by signing agreements essentially banishing her from community authority forever. The transformation under new leadership was miraculous. Beth Morrison's presidency brought teachers' wisdom to replace toxic dictatorship. Monthly dues plummeted 40% through efficient management. They eliminated 83 harassment categories, turning guidelines from criminal code into neighborly suggestions. My licensing agreement generates comfortable income while preserving lake access. $50 annually per household replaced illegal fees that drained budgets. The personal healing began when Sage spent entire summer with me, transforming from sullen teenager into confident young woman who could dock boats and identify every fish species. The crown jewel was Alpine Lake Conservation Scholarship, $5,000 annually for environmental science students. Settlement money became investment in justice that will outlive us all. Every morning now, I sit on my dock watching sunrise paint mountains gold, steam rising from coffee that tastes like freedom. Children's laughter bounces across water that legally belongs to me but spiritually belongs to everyone who understands home should be sanctuary, not battlefield. Uncle Ezra's legacy became weapon for justice rather than target for harassment. Exactly as he would have wanted. The American flag flying from my boat's stern isn't provocation anymore. It's peaceful symbol of rights defended and proof that ordinary people can defeat extraordinary corruption when they fight smart instead of surrendering. Drop your HOA nightmare in comments. Smash that subscribe button for more neighbors fighting back against suburban tyrants. Next week, an HOA that tried to ban the American flag itself.